Everyone, welcome to another edition of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm going to be your host and producer this evening, Logan Landers, and join me to do a team preview of the Alabama Crimson Tide, talking about the offense and the defense. Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. How you doing this afternoon, sir?
How you doing, Mr. Logan Landers?
I am doing great, sir. Doing great. And I hope our fans are doing great out there as well. Because without y'all tuning in each and every single week, none of this will be possible. We appreciate all the continued love and support. And of course, you guys know where to find us, Facebook and YouTube at 100th Football Sports Talk Radio. Also, our podcast platform on all major streaming platforms, thanks to our fine folks over at the Believe Podcast Network. Vincent, I'm going to be breaking down the offense. You'll be handling the defense here, talking about the team that shocked the college football world and knocked out the Georgia Bulldogs of the top four. And now they'll be going on to face the number one ranked Michigan Wolverines in the Rose Bowl. It's the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm going to do my best to break down this team and the tremendous talent that they have on the offensive side of the ball. What we all know when it comes to offense, primarily, and for this team, it is no exception. You look at the quarterback, Jalen Milroe, a guy who was benched earlier this year. People forget that. He was benched for subpar play, but he dug deep. He said, I might be down right now. And since he came back from being benched, he has looked like a completely different ball player. He's been accurate. He's been concise. He's been quick. He knows where he wants to throw the ball, and he will get it there in a hurry. On the season, he's thrown for 2,718 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 INTs. But one thing that does worry me, Vincent, about this Alabama team coming into the playoffs, he was sacked 38 times this season. That's not like the Bama we know. But looking at the rest of the squad, though, Jace McClellan, their main guy at the running back spot, 803 yards for him, 166 carries, 6 touchdowns. His backup behind him, that two-headed monster they got with Roydell Williams, 561. He's got 5 TDs. And I'm just talking about Milroe with the passing game, but he can get it done in the rushing game as well. 12 TDs, 468 on the ground for him. He's looked really good. He's looked super strong, and Alabama has been able to rally around him for these past few weeks. And obviously, they looked great against Georgia. They got the good win, got the close win. But that is why they are the number 4 seed in the playoffs. Receiving core, you're led by Jermaine Burton. Overall, he's done a really good job this year. 35 grabs for the young man, 777 yards. He's got 8 TDs on the year. And something that pops out with him, a 22.2 average per catch. That is insane. You go behind him, you have Isaiah Bond, a native of Buford, Georgia, a sophomore. He's got a team high 44 grabs for 621 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns. And of course, when you look at this offense, you look at their tight end, you look at a solid player in Amari Niblack, a 6'4", 233, a little undersized as a big tight end, you might think, but he can get it done as well. 19 grabs for 321. He's also got 4 touchdowns. And of course, we always got to show some love to the special teams come playoff time because that's when it really matters. Will Reichard, what more needs to be said about this man, Vincent? He has been putting up point after points for Alabama for a very long time, since 2019. All in all, he's gotten 539 points throughout his tenure. Definitely I would say, underrated piece of this Alabama puzzle and what really makes it roll. 53 of 53 for his extra points. That's a perfect 100%. 20 of 23 from the field goal margin, 87%. He's got all three of his misses, though, have been from the 40 to 49 range. So just something to maybe be on the watch out here for coming into the playoffs. Well, overall, man, Vincent, Alabama has been lights out. They've been looking great on offense. That's why they're at a great 12-1 record. All in all, they scored 56 touchdowns on the regular season. Third down percentage, 46.75. Not too shabby at all, if I do say so myself. And they have just been rolling like their name implies. They've looked great on offense. Tell me about defense, though. What can the Michigan Wolverines expect a heavy dose of coming into their Rose Bowl matchup?
Well, when you're looking at the University of Alabama, and they have been the premier college football team in the South, and you think about all the great Alabama teams from the 60s defensively and all the great defensive players that played And one thing, when you're looking over the overall scoop, is always Alabama's had great players at every position. The defensive end position, Leroy Cook, Eric Curry, Mike Pitts. The defensive tackle position, Bob Baumhauer, Marty Lyons, Jackie Klein. Then you're looking at the linebacker position, Cornelius Bennett, Derek Thomas, Barry Krause, Dwayne Rudd, Woodrow Lowe. Then you're looking at the secondary, especially at the cornerback position. I said this several times on our platform, 100 Yards Football. Jeremiah Castile was the best cornerback I've seen during my years fighting the Southeastern Conference in the late 70s, early 80s as the best cornerback. Then you think about Antonio Langdon. Then you think about Don McNeil at the position, Mike Washington. And then at the safety position, how can you not forget Jim Bob Harris and Tommy Wilcox? Looking at this Alabama defense, speed, strength at every position. But what makes them go is they two defensive ends, Chris Braswell and my man Dallas Turner, who has my last name. Dallas Turner, to me, over the last month, has been the best defensive end / linebacker football player in the country. Go back to this past SEC championship game, Logan. Remember that one play when he took on that offensive tackle for Georgia and drove him back about 5 yards into the quarterback and got that sack?
Oh, yeah.
Then go back how he played against LSU when he knocked Jaden Daniels out of the game. A lot of people saying that was a dirty hit. No, that was a football hit. And think about when great players make an impact, they make an impact. And listen to these stats here. He's got 50 tackles on the year. But of them 50 tackles, 14.5 been for losses. He's got 10 sacks. 10 sacks plus 14.5 tackles for losses. That's mean you making an impact on the defensive side of the ball. Then Teron Arnold. If he hasn't been the best defensive back in the last month in college football and how he played against Georgia and Auburn, man-to-man coverage, 13 passes defended on the season, 5 interceptions. And right now, when you're looking at all the defensive backs going into the NFL draft, he's came out of nowhere right now. He's my #1 defensive back going into the 2024 NFL draft. And then the safety position, Caleb Downs, locally out of the Metro Atlanta area, a star at Mill Creek High School, coming in as a true freshman, 99 tackles on the year, 3 tackles for losses, 2 interceptions. But when you look at him play on film, you say, man, he's around the ball every damn time. Phenomenal football player, man. Then Malachi Moore, another great football player. And that's why Alabama, as I just mentioned, is only allowed 18 points a game. They got 43 sacks on the year. Yeah, they give up some plays. This defense has given up some plays, but look at the second half against Tennessee. Flawless. Look at the second half against LSU, against allegedly the best player in the country, Jalen Daniels. Flawless. And then look at last week against Georgia. They played very well defensively, and that was one of the reasons they won that football game. All I can say is Roll Tide, the history, the ghost of Leroy Jordan looking down on his defense. Roll Tide, baby.
Yes, sir. And all of our Alabama Crimson Tide fan, put in the comments what you like about this team. Who you think's a great player? Who's someone who's maybe undervalued, not getting enough love? And we want to hear in our comments someone who you think is going to be an X factor against the Michigan Wolverines. As always, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner, it's a pleasure talking sports with you each and every single week. I'm your host, producer, Logan Landers. We'll talk to y'all again on another live episode